guys. This is the Can We Talk podcast, episode 33. As always, I have my two co-hosts in the building, Brittany Hill.
Hey, hey, hey.
And Raven Brown.
What's up?
And we have a special guest in the building. I would say an anchor to the podcast, one of the Mount Rushmores of the podcast, right? We have Sierra Dotson in the building.
Yeah.
One of the incredible staples of the podcast when it was called something else, or we couldn't figure out what the name was, but hey.
I can figure it.
Barely. But she's back in the building, guys. We're really excited to have her back in. So can we talk about essentially what sparked you coming back on? Because this city
Didn't we talk about this before?
No.
Did I tell you how every time we start the podcast when I was a co-host, Calvin be like, so why you saying? He just automatically throws the spotlight on me.
Listen.
That's a lot of pressure.
Listen, it's not a lot of pressure because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. All right? So it's not a lot of pressure.
And
I know what I'm
today-
doing. Just a little bit.
A little bit, okay.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
But what would have been the podcast name? I'm curious.
It was sometimes we eat, sometimes we talk.
Okay, I remember that.
Or-
Anything before that?
No, I don't think so. I think that name was the first thing that I came up with and just ran with it. And it became stressful.
It should have been one time we eat, sometimes we talk.
One time we eat, the rest of the time we're talking.
Absolutely.
The other time my dumb ass should be sitting here hungry.
Like I am now. I mean, I gobbled down a taco before I came in here, but still hungry right now.
So your neighbor is the daughter of one of my closest friends, T-Mac, who I've tried to get both of them on the actual podcast itself. But
Okay.
small world.
I was making it make sense in my head. So, your neighbor,
Former neighbor. She moved.
former neighbor,
Just in case anybody looking for her. She don't live there no more.
is the daughter of one of your good friends?
One of my best friends.
One of
Yeah.
your best friends? Okay, got it.
So it's actually funny that you say that because she asked me if you live over there, and I'm so like avoid of giving people information
Yeah,
about my
thank
friends.
you.
I'm like,
Thank you.
I'm like, where you live? She was like, Lakeland. I was like, she might live over there, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm so
Yeah.
avoid of giving people information that
As
I
you
know.
should.
Absolutely.
As you should.
Absolutely.
Although she's a friend of mine too, but I'm just like, I don't put the dots together.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And this studio is still on 6th Street.
Facts. We're located on 6th Street, next to the old Crave.
Yeah,
It goes
that's all you need to know.
6th Street, Washington, D.C.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maryland too. All
Yeah,
that.
if you don't know, then you don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't need to know.
I don't even know where we're at. to be honest.
I-Y-I-K. Right?
We fly out every night. I mean, every Thursday.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's
I'm slow
Thursday.
today. Everything I'm like trying to make it make sense. Yes.
Yeah.
But your ex neighbor is the daughter of one of my closest friends, T-Mac, aka Tammy Brown. She's the person that I know that lives in Georgetown. She lives in
Allegedly.
Georgetown. You probably
The
know what I'm
2-6?
talking about. Not the 2-6.
2-6 representing.
Gang, gang.
Hold on, you got a few Georgetown stories.
That's
We're not
the
Jack
truth.
in
It's
not
not
Jack
the
in the
truth.
Box.
No, not Jack in the Box.
Oh, okay,
No.
Is the tea ready?
It's brewing.
Not Jack in the Box.
You know what my new thing is? Anytime somebody asks me a question, I answer, I be like, allegedly.
I was going to say that shit.
No, you already took my daddy hat. You're not
I
about
just
to
be
take my,
pleading the
you're not
fifth.
about to take my slogan.
At this point, I plead the fifth.
I refuse.
That is allegedly a fact.
Allegedly a fact.
You got to give it a pause, though. Like, that is a fact. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Just
gotta let
plead
it
the,
simmer.
plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth.
Fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4,
That's when
5.
Calvin was doing some dirt.
I was in the streets, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've never been there. I don't know what that looks like.
You've definitely been in the
You
streets.
just came
yeah.
out.
You just got
tired
out.
of the
You just
streets.
came inside. You definitely was outside.
Guys,
I
I
was-
don't mean to make this about me, but I have been entered back into the dating world, and it is exhausting.
Oh yeah, I could have told you that, girl.
Exhausting. I'm like, Lord, I got one foot on the stoop, one foot in the street,
Yeah.
a pinky in the car.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so over it.
Yes, it's.
So
I
over.
agree.
I think I had given up on the dating scene, and then all of a sudden, like, boof. I mean, disclaimer.
Boof what?
I'm not.
Boof,
I'm
yeah,
not
what
dating
is that
nobody.
boof?
and
You was
I'm
that's
single.
being real weird with your post. She'd be like, "Yeah, he's crazy fun." Disclaimer: I'm single. What Like, what are you doing?
Because people be up in my business.
You're telling your business.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. It's a when the
can't-
disclaimer's there.
What was the
It's a
what was the
disclaimer.
one about Thanksgiving? I get to spend Thanksgiving with my three favorite people.
Yeah.
I almost was looking eyes on who
And
the
I was
third.
like,
You definitely named two of them.
I was like,
And
my
then-
friend Larissa, my friend PJ, and I was like, it's mind your business because you don't need to know the third.
Yeah.
You said disclaimer. I'm like, what is she doing, yo? If you don't
No,
want in
people.
the business,
No,
you don't have to
literally,
say
I
your
was
business.
I have stalkers, but I want to be able to be like, yeah, on my social media, but I can't.
Is he on your
How
because
dumb do you think
I
these
don't-
stalkers are?
no, they're literally
Like,
they're
disclaimer. I'm not, like, what?
like no, they make fake profiles.
Listen, if you ever see me post a man on my story,
You were hacked.
nah,
Oh,
he's
that's
a
my
friend.
story, and I'm sticking
He's a
to it.
friend. It would be I got it. If you see me post a man on social media, girl, call the feds. She's sick. She's twisted. She's not well.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about white women.
I was hacked.
Thank you. I love that about you.
I was hacked. If there is no, if it's a full headshot, somebody hacked my page.
Never.
If you see me with a white woman, please ask.
If you're
Reach
okay,
out to the police and the proper
blink
authorities.
3 times.
trapped.
Are you? I'm
And
trapped.
that's how Karen with the C sees it.
Okay. Yeah.
You weren't looking at the cameras. There's
So real quick before we go back over, while we talk
Disclaimer
about
first.
you and your disclaimers, is he on your social media?
Who?
There you go.
Is
Good
he
job.
Allegedly.
I taught you well.
Listen,
Your third friend.
my who?
Your third friend.
Is he on my social media?
Yeah.
He may or may not be. I don't know. She may or may not be.
Good job.
Allegedly. You know what? That does work.
She said,
But listen, you got to give the
except for Calvin and I see right through that, along with the rest of your followers.
like everyone disclaimer. Like
They're like, what? You don't.
You're acting like that's a small thing.
It may be, and I may not be. I just keep the guessing up to them.
you act like those medicine companies that put the small disclaimer in really really small print.
Oh
like,
yeah, it's my small print.
But it's not small print. Like it's really big.
Disclaimer.
It's small print with a circle around it.
For real, highlighted.
One was like, "Oh, I love when it's a tall man and he can hug me." I was like, "Yeah, I love it when he does that." Disclaimer: I wish I had a man.
I cannot.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm actually single, so it's not really a lie.
Listen, technically, my mother is a pastor, and she said ain't no girlfriends in the Bible, okay? It's husbands and wives. So
Period,
if
poo.
I've heard that.
I'm
Period,
single or
poo.
I'm married.
Okay.
So if you don't see
If
something
I
on my
pop
finger,
up married,
holla at me.
Mind your business.
yeah,
still.
mind your business. If I pop up married with some man
Still mind your business.
And
Same thing as before.
and I've been claiming I've been single this whole time, just mind your business that pays you.
Yes. Thank you.
Allegedly.
No.
Not her wearing it to the ground.
I would
She
get that
gonna wear it to the
on
ground on this one episode. Matter of fact, name it.
I can't
Allegedly.
bring nothing hot over here. Nothing.
The title of this episode is allegedly.
And then we gotta find a quote that says, "If you do this, allegedly." But yeah,
That sounds like the what the police be saying to you when you get like arrested.
You have the right to remain silent.
That sounds like
Anything you say can will be used against you in a court of law.
I didn't say anything. Allegedly, you didn't. You can say
anything you
anything.
do say can and will be used against you.
Please don't use that against me. That's my disclaimer for this episode.
Okay, so going back to your neighbor friend, daughter.
It was just weird because like she had hit me up because I think I posted some old. It's old now, but like the photo from last time she was here,
Okay.
and she was like, "I think that's my neighbor," and I'm like, allegedly, like I don't know, like.
But she doesn't live by you anymore. When she posted that,
Yeah,
was,
when she
But
reached out
once
to
your
me.
neighbor is always your neighbor, you know, you always.
But y'all
have to
had
call
y'all
your
had
neighbor.
interactions though.
Absolutely. So we always see each other in passing, though. So either I'm coming in the door with the thing that really sealed the bond,
Okay.
right? Somebody had ordered deliveries for the groceries,
Okay.
and they accidentally put it in front of her door, and it sat there for like 2 days. So one day I knocked on her door, like maybe they just haven't been in town. I was like, hey, are these your groceries? She's like, no, girl, like they accidentally put them here, and I was like, all right, bet. Well, I just looked in the bag. And I seen some applesauce. So if they don't come get it tomorrow, we gonna split it. And she said, all right, cool, right? And then the next day I came home and it was applesauce in front of my door. I was like,
Davia is dope. She's really dope. I think she's our age. I don't know.
Your age.
You're a year older than me.
That's a lot.
You know what happens in a year?
You know what happens in
lot.
a day?
You know what happens in a
What happens in a what?
I plead the fifth.
All them hours that you be having?
What was the disclaimer?
So applesauce.
Yeah, I actually still have a box. It was like 3 boxes. Somebody had spent a good $14 on that applesauce.
Wait, what store was it from?
HEB, but it's organic.
Ooh,
and it's the
yeah.
squeeze ones.
The Central Market organic one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they spent some money on that applesauce.
And
It's
me and Rose
expensive.
love it.
It's expensive to be organic.
I never had that.
But y'all never like had conversations outside of that, like y'all
Not a
never.
whole no, because we only see each other in passing. And me, you know, I like to keep it sweet. Hey, how you doing? Like that hat girl, and keep pushing.
Yeah.
I never use 7 words when 4 will do.
It's a good motto to live by.
Shout out to Davia
Method.
though. Like I've been trying to get her on. She's nervous. Like she's really nervous to be on the pod. I've been trying to get her and her mom on it for a long time.
You know what's
Both nervous.
funny about you and her mother being best friends? It's like that post that I seen a long time ago. It was like, work really created
Shirley.
it. Like you have best friends.
yeah.
Like, because like there was a manager at Protect America named Tammy.
There?
She didn't
Short
work
to
at
Sears.
Sears. Short to Sears.
Yeah,
This
so-
is like 2013, 14, 15.
There was a manager at Protect America. She was the manager of the back named Tammy.
Really,
I don't know.
Tammy.
Yeah, I don't know how old Tammy is, but me and her used to be cutting up. Like, I go back there and be like, that's what this bitch just did. Like, it used to be so
Yeah.
funny. Like, she used to spill all tea because she had been there like 20 years.
Yeah.
That is, even to this day, that's my bitch. I fuck with Tammy.
Yeah, T's
Shout out to
T's
Tammy.
the homie. Like one of the funniest things is like when I started in that position, because we were all in leadership positions at that time, and she had never met me before. She was on vacation when I actually got to the job, so she knew I was coming. She got me a souvenir from where she was and had my name on it. And she never I've never met this woman before ever, but she knew I was gonna be, there when she got back. So she got me something. I was like, it's lights out. We're cool.
Love people like that.
So we've been close ever since her 51st birthday is coming up next month. So
What you gonna get her?
What are you gonna do?
we're gonna figure something out because like she has a lot of health complications, so she doesn't really want to be around a lot of people.
That
So the
makes
last
sense,
time
yeah.
I've seen her was last December. So hopefully we can coordinate some. And last time I actually helped with cooking everything. We did like a fish fry and everything like that. All her family came through, so I'm ingratiated with the family. Like I know Davia, I know
That's
her.
a T word. I see. Ingratiated.
Like I know her older son, her younger son, her
She got a son?
She has an older son.
How
Davia
old?
has an older brother.
How old?
I think he's with somebody.
Oh yeah, she's out in
He fine?
Because he's not our
I
age,
don't
right?
know how to describe that.
Maybe 30s. Maybe.
You
He's shorter than you.
Never mind.
Yeah, so she's like, yeah, no.
Good call. The rest don't even matter.
Yeah, the rest don't even matter. Because that medium ugly can get by
If you tall.
if he's tall.
Yeah.
Or if he's funny. Or if he got some
Personality.
bands. Listen, it's some things that can get you past that medium ugly. But short will never be one of them.
You don't do men with kids, right?
Okay, so I gotta tell y'all something. No, seriously, I really gotta tell y'all something. So, I've said that before, right? Like, I don't want to date a man with kids. I also said that I didn't want to date a man who had been married before, right? So, quick little story. I have a best friend who actually just moved to Houston not that long ago. So I have a best friend named Terrell. And Terrell has this big group of guy friends that we've literally all grew up with, like, had him for their whole life. So, in 2013... I'd already graduated college, and I started seeing this guy with them, right? I'm like, who's that? And he's like, oh, that's our homeboy. We won't call him Tom, right? I'm like, oh, okay. I see him, right? So then one night, we all happened to go out, and he walks up to me. He's like, you Dottie McFly. And I was like, yeah. And then my best friend was like, that's him. And, like, he slid in my DM, and we was talking for a little bit, but that was right before I moved to Vegas, so it never went anywhere, right? Just kind of like talking on Snapchat back and forth, So I move, right? He already had a daughter, who was maybe like 4 or 5 at the time. He ends up dating somebody else. They get married. They have another baby. We stay on touch. I mean, we stayed in touch on social media. Like, cool. So Terrell has another best friend named Bill, right? So Bill is a barber now, and if you guys seen that post I put up, it was like, hey, I only reply to DMs from men to get their haircut here, right? So he replied, and he's like, oh, well, you know, I get my haircut there. And I was like, you got wife. I don't care about that, right? And he's like, well, actually, no, we're not together anymore. I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Wait. Tom slid back.
Slid back, yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
All these niggas always circle the block with me. I swear.
Wait, what does Bill have? He's just a barber.
It's complicated. So yeah, Bill's just a barber at this point, right? So long story
He's an
short,
attractive barber.
he's a very attractive barber,
Okay,
but
okay.
I fucked that up. So anyway, you know, another story for another time. So
We're focusing on Tom.
we focusing on Tom. So he's a truck driver now, right?
Okay.
So he's like, you gonna talk to me? And I don't believe nothing nobody tells me. So I'm like, yeah, okay, like we can be friends. Like we can be friends. You wanna have a friendly conversation? Cool. So we're talking, and then based off the things that he's telling me, like, okay, he's telling the truth. Like, okay, we're not together anymore. And I felt bad about that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Right.
You always want black families to be together, right?
Absolutely.
So we're talking. I'm like, damn, like I've known this person since 2013, but I have not known you. Like you're so articulate, you're so worldly. We like all the same things, and it just kind of like took off. Like I fell in like that was a 6-hour conversation.
I felt like it's tough.
A 6-hour conversation. I feel like it was a high school game, right? So fast forward 3 weeks in, we on the phone every day. We talking. Like on the weekends when he will be home, I went and talked to him, and he's like, how come you don't call me and when I'm in Baltimore? I'm like, because you're a father, and I know that you are always on the road because you're driving. So when you're home with your kids, like, I want to write. He's like, man, like, that's love, da-da-da. So it ended up not working out.
I was like,
What about it didn't work out?
Yeah.
So I'm big on communication,
Okay.
right? And not even communication, but comprehension. I can be as sympathetic, as empathetic, as I can be whatever you need me to be, but you have to tell me what you need from me. You gotta tell me what's going on. So there had, you know, that intuition.
Yeah.
That's a funny bitch, right? So I started getting this feeling like something's not right, especially because you get a schedule with people, right? Like
Yes.
I started to learn his schedule. So every other Sunday he was driving to Maine, right? So it's Sunday, and I have a fashion blog. I started getting to the point where, like, I was taking pictures and only sending to him, like not even posting. I'm like, bitch, you dumb. What are you doing? So anyway, he didn't reply to my pictures the way he usually does. Like, okay, maybe he's tired, right? But then I'm texting him, he's not writing back. I'm thinking to myself, like, he should be on his way to Maine right now. Like, maybe something's going on. So then I didn't hear from him for the rest of the night. So then the next morning, I'm talking to him, like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just woke up in Maine. I'm like, so you was in a truck for 11 hours? You didn't talk to me, you're not texting me back, like, and something just didn't feel right. So I'm like, do me a favor. When you get yourself together, call me. He didn't call. That was a Monday. So I didn't talk to him Sunday. He didn't call Monday. He didn't call Tuesday. Wednesday, he replied to my Instagram story, and that was it. I was like, oh, wow. Oh, no, he didn't reply. He watched it, but he didn't say nothing. And that just set me off. I'm like, okay, no. So then the next day, that's Thursday, that's 5 days now, he texts me, and I didn't reply. So then he called me like, so you ignore my text? And like, it's like everything in me not to flip out. I'm like,
You see how I really
I would have responded.
because it's just
Who is
like,
this?
I feel like you're playing in my
Who is
face.
this
You know what I mean?
at this point?
Like, you want me to be sympathetic to whatever you're going through. If you had told me, hey, I got some stuff going on right now, I'm not ignoring you, but I need space.
Yes.
Take it. You can have whatever you need from me. And when you're ready to get yourself together and come talk to me again, cool, we are right. But you watching my Instagram story every day.
So you got your phone. It's a quick text.
And it can't be no serious emergencies where you're on social media. I don't care what nobody say. So yeah, we didn't recover from that, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say, maybe I was telling myself, because I was fucked up about it, I ain't gonna lie. So I'm like, you know so much about love languages now, right? And I'm like, man, like, I have only met one person thus far who had both of my love languages, right? So, but there's a lot of other things that Julian didn't have. So I'm like, this Tom, right? He didn't speak my love languages naturally, but when he learned what they were, he loved me the way that I received love, right? He was considerate intellectually. We were bound, like, we were finishing each other's sentences. It was crazy. We had 4-hour conversation about music. The next day we had a 3-hour conversation about animals. Like, it wasn't, I mean, we talked about some sexual stuff, but like, it wasn't like that. Like, he just felt like he could be my person. You know what I mean? It was like, well, one of my people, you know? So it's like, man, like, it was very disappointing to me, but I thought about it, like, maybe the reason that God put him in my path was not because he needed to stay, but it's because I needed to see. Like, you are putting people in boxes, and like, had you had been like, okay, he has a child, he's got children, he was married to somebody else, I never would have known.
And you wouldn't have had that connection.
Wouldn't have had the connection.
Wouldn't have had that experience.
Wouldn't have had the experience, and wouldn't have been able to see, you know what, I don't have to compromise for people not being everything that I want because I met somebody who is, right? It didn't work out, but I met somebody who is. So I don't have to be like, you know what, he doesn't know how to love me the way I want, but he's got all these other things we can work on it. I'm not going to do that no more. So I'm thankful for that opportunity to be enlightened, to see like, hey, this is possible. You're not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong people. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I also had to be humble because I'm like, bitch, you saying that you don't want to date a man who's been married before because that might be baggage, but you also have baggage. You know, you also have some things that you're bringing to the table that somebody else might not be comfortable dealing with and might not know how to handle. So humble yourself. And I just really, really, really am so grateful because I always tell myself that when I start dating again or when I go into a relationship, I want to be a whole person who is with another whole person so that we can build from that. I don't want to be the person who has to fill in the gaps of you or you fill in the gaps for me. And I was watching an Instagram live of this girl a girlfriend of mine that I went to college with, and this guest that she had said something so powerful. And you ever just felt like, man, like there's something that I want to express and I just don't have the words for it. She said she had to learn in her relationships not to punish her partner for all the times that her father didn't hug her. I was like, wow.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Disclaimer, just kidding. Anyways,
Allegedly.
right. It's kind of where I'm at, where like past relationships, they're all shit. No, like all shit. But moving forward with the person that I'm, seeing right now, exclusively dating.
You said
Disclaimer.
You said what?
Allegedly.
Who?
Allegedly. Allegedly, right? No, I don't want people in my business.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah?
But allegedly, I might be dating someone. I don't know. I might be.
If they're not in your business by now, then
But
I don't know.
I honestly don't. I honestly don't care if anyone's in my business, but I just don't want the wrong people in my business. But that always happens.
Anybody outside of your relationship is the wrong people. Let's just keep it stacked.
True. But like this guy that I'm seeing, he's just literally my mirror image. Probably in the past, I would not been ready as I am ready right now, but I'm not ready to take that next step. And I noticed that with myself because there's still a lot of growing that I need to do. There's still a lot of learning that I need to do. Like I was a lot of the times in the past relationship, I was so codependent. And I think that he was as well, or like he had partners that were very codependent too. So I've kind of learned to separate myself from that, and like I feel like I'm a stronger person, an independent person on my own. And like now I look at things as like I don't really need someone to complete me, but it's nice to have an addition to add to.
Absolutely. Compliment.
Yeah.
It's like an accessory.
So.
Make it pop.
And let me ask you, so like with that experience of being in a relationship.
I can't believe I just said that on. I can't believe I just admitted to that.
Yeah. So with
That's
that
okay,
relationship, right, with the person who had the kid, right, did you experience the kid too, or was the kid older, or
Nah, so
younger kid?
this was very recent. So he still lives in Baltimore. So crazy thing, I have not seen him since that first night that we ever met. That was in 2013, right? And I feel like it had to be like sometime in January because I moved in March. And it was very short-lived, March 2013. So, no, I moved in March 2014. Either way, I met him. Yeah, I met him in December. No, I met him in December 2013.
Allegedly.
I got it now. I met him in December 2013 because I moved in 2014. Yeah, so. Yeah, no, we've only ever seen each other in person at one time. And that's the crazy thing about social media. It makes the world so small, and it makes you feel like you have these experiences with people that you really don't share with them because you just are able to watch it.
So sometimes I feel like that is, although y'all didn't see each other for a long time, like I feel like it can be very, very beneficial in some ways because you guys got to know each other on an emotional level, a mental level,
Absolutely.
not just physical. Sometimes when you spend a lot of time, you miss that actually getting to know
Yeah.
them, you know?
Cause you're like, ooh, I ain't seen you all day. I'm trying,
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, it fucks me up even thinking about it, right? Because like,
Are you blushing?
nah, I'm like, I don't know. It's like a weird feeling, right?
Yeah.
Because in this
I feel like
time,
it's deeper.
It's
so
deeper.
much- it's
and in this time, right? Like there were some things that was going on, and like I would just talk to him about it. And one day he texted me. He said, "Hey, when you wake up, call me. I'm gonna tell you about yourself, right?" And I'm thinking like, "Oh, he about to fuck me up. I'm pretty." Like the picture I posted, he was like, "Yeah, so you was wrong for this, right?" And I was like, oh, "Okay, hold me accountable." You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like he knew how to be supportive, but he also knew how to like be gentle with me, to help me be vulnerable enough to see the error in something I had done, and like coach me through it or
Yeah.
walk me through it. And like I appreciate that, because I always preach safe spaces.
Yeah.
Especially being in training and development, we correct in private and we praise in public. And I really felt like he had my back.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't scared. You know, I'm very outspoken. Like,
Yeah.
you can't tell me shit. You see, so Jill Scott did this interview once. I think she was on the Breakfast Club, and you know, she's my area sister, and she was like, "If you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do."
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me. I feel like it makes sense
Yeah.
to a lot of people. But that's how I felt about him. So it just like you said, it was so disappointing. It was so
Yeah.
deeply disappointing. Like,
Yeah.
man, like this felt so good.
Yeah. And felt right.
It felt right. And what could you possibly want from me? You can't get shit. You're in a whole different time
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah.
I don't get to see you, but you give me so much of your time, and he really listened to me.
Yeah.
And he would remember things, and like I always test people. Sometimes I tell people shit just to see if they're gonna repeat it.
Yeah.
Or just to see if they remember. And like I would start saying something like, nope, because remember you said, and I'm like, damn, to be heard.
Listening.
To be heard. Like that's like my non-sexual turn on, to be heard. Like,
Yeah.
man, that feels good.
Yeah.
It feels so
I
good.
agree.
Fuck you.
So-
I hope you see this shit, because I hate your ass. I'm so mad.
Look, it sounds so good. So you're just at 100% that what happened between you guys is not mendable.
So
She
funny.
she left the room
Funny
earlier and she was
enough.
on the phone with this man. I probably got
No, that was my best friend. Yeah, he was sending me voice messages, and you know, you got
Yeah.
on speaker. So it's definitely over, and it's definitely over because one of my toxic traits is I leave before I get left. So like the threat is gone, your contact is gone, you
Yeah.
done,
And
and
how
like
do you know if it would have worked out? How do you know?
So I'm gonna say this, right? We had a discussion like early on, like maybe like hour 3, right? At that first 6-hour conversation, we was talking. He's like, "Listen, I just want to be extremely transparent because I feel like I owe that to you, right? I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. But let's just keep it a stack." This is why I love Baltimore niggas. Like I always say, like I know the world has billions of people. Like I just feel like nigga for me is from Baltimore because they're the only ones I like. But anyway, he was like, "We don't have to make no promises to each other. I'm not moving to Texas. You're not coming home, right?" And he's like, "So whatever happens, let's just let it gracefully happen. And what doesn't, we're not going to trip over." And I was fine with that because I don't want to be the person who keeps trying to fit things into spaces that they look like they belong, but they have no place for, right? It's like that picture, that orange that's got a piece of, it's like one of them little cutie oranges that's got a piece of garlic in it. Like you don't fit everywhere you don't belong everywhere you fit. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why it was so hurtful to me. That I'm like, we always talk about things, you know what I mean? And we already said that ain't no promises. Like, so
Yeah.
if there's something that's going on, and I'll be honest, his daughter had a birthday, his 2-year-old daughter had a birthday that weekend. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, this what happened. They was all a happy family and shit at Disney
No,
all night.
no,
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking in my mind. But I'm like, if that's the case, I will be happy for you.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if I care about you all the way around. So
Right.
if your family could work, I want that for you. Don't nobody ever want to be in separate households, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, every other week. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
I don't want that for you.
And I don't want you to be somewhere that you're not happy.
Exactly.
I don't want you to be here, but you wishing that you were there.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Or do something because you feel like you need to appease me to
Yeah.
keep me. Nah, not at all. And that's not the type of man that he is. Like, his kids
Yeah.
come first. He's a family man. So like, I knew that meant a lot to him. So I was thinking like, if that's what this is, you could have just let me know, because you could have just left me alone. Nobody asked you to slide into my DM.
Right.
Nobody asked you to come over here. Like, nobody asked you to make me fall in like with you.
Yeah.
I was cool. I was minding my business. Especially because I'm going to just spin a block on this. Bill and I have, nothing's ever happened between us, right? Terrell's other best friend, the barber. But like, we've been flirting our whole lives, basically, right? Because I've known him since like 11. So that same day that I put the post, and he's like, hey, I've actually got some followers off of this, like, thank you. And I was like, cool. I was like, yeah, some of your homeboys hit me up too. He's like, oh, I ain't worried about them, right? And I was like, oh, I thought we was faking love. And he was like, we are. And he sent me his number. So the same day, I'm texting him, and it was a very baseline conversation. I was like, hey, listen, I have another a master barber friend in Prince George's County who has got wonderful services. He does facials, all the different stuff. Like, you should hit him up. Y'all should connect so you can add more services to your shop, bring in more revenue. She's like, cool. That was the end of that conversation. Fast forward to a couple hours later, Tom and I are on the phone, and I find out that they are much closer than I thought they were. And I was like, I ain't gonna say nothing yet. I was like, I'm waiting to see how this plays out. So then Bill never hit me back up. So I was like, okay, maybe they had a conversation. And he's like, oh, I connected with Dottie and just left it alone. So I'm like, cool, I ain't gotta say nothing. But then a week goes by and Bill hits me up again. I'm like, fuck. Now I gotta say something. I was scared. So I was like, what if I tell Tom that he's telling me that he likes me? And he's like, oh, my brother like you. Yeah, he's like, man, if my brother don't like you.
So did you say something?
So I did. I called my brother and I was like, hey, this is the situation what to do. He was like, Tom is the person you have the loyalty to. You tell him about it, he'll take care of it, right? Because he knows both of them. I was like, cool. So that's what I did. I told him like, hey, this is how this played out. Literally never expecting anything. I mean, you even know, like I told you, like we on some friendly shit. And he was like, no. He was like, thank you for letting me know. And he's like, I'll take care of it. So that was the end of it. So I thought. But then Bill hit me up again. So I'm like, then that was the other thing. So he hit me up again that same day that he wasn't texting back. So I'm like, you haven't talked to him. It's very clear that you have not talked to him about what's going on. And I'm not your girlfriend. Like, this ain't nothing serious, but like, the fact that you wouldn't even say something like, hey, like.
So Tom didn't talk to Bill.
Tom didn't talk to Bill.
Take care of it.
Said he was going to take care of it, he didn't. So to this day, I still don't know if he knows, and honestly, I hope that he doesn't. But what I did on my end, because I have respect for Bill, you know what I mean? Like, we've known each other for a long time. I was like, hey, I just want to be transparent with you. When you originally hit me up and we were talking, I wasn't in anything. But since then, because he took like 2 weeks to hit me back, something has developed between me and somebody else, and I want to be upfront about that. And he never wrote me back. So I just left it alone.
But
so that's why I said I fucked it up.
Situation.
I know. I wouldn't talk to him at this point anyway. But
Why?
Because like, okay, so remember I told you there's this big friends group, right? This Terrell's got a big friends group, right? One day, Terrell slipped up and told me that they had a bet about which one of them could bag me, right? Because mind you, I've known these guys since I was like, and some of them since elementary school. Like, we all grew up together. And they always be like, damn, Dottie, you grew up. You look kind of like, thanks, whatever. Known you since I used to play, whatever. So, that always told me like, oh, no, none of y'all will ever talk to me. Like, never. But then Tom, he's somebody new because none of us grew up. The reason that they even know each other is because he and Bill were neighbors. So that's how he came into the friends group as an adult. Gotcha. So that's why I was like, okay, I'll talk to him because he's
not part of like,
he's an outlier,
original,
exactly.
Makes sense.
But yeah, no.
So what are you gonna do though?
As far as
nothing, I'm gonna move on.
As far as like trying to figure out, figuring out that you are okay with dating men who have children, right? You didn't really have to deal with the day-to-day stuff of being a girlfriend or someone that is invested into that person with a kid. Wouldn't that have made a difference? That's not
the issue. The issue is that I love children and I fall in love with them, and when I'm tired of your dumbass daddy, I'm gonna have to stop talking to you, and that would break my heart. That's why I don't want to date nobody with kids. Not because I don't want to deal with I ain't worried about none of that.
Baby mama don't.
Yeah, I ain't worried
so would
about
it have gone differently if you had met the kids? Or have you met the kids?
No, I haven't met his
kids. Would it have been different for you in that situation just because of your attachment?
You gotta break it with two people though.
It probably would have been harder for her.
That's what I'm saying. Would you have gone a little harder in that moment because you know the kids?
It just didn't get that deep. You see what I'm saying? So like where we were in the development of a relationship, it wouldn't have been that deep. It'd have been like, oh, see you at games or whatever. Like, nah, it didn't get that deep. Had it had really developed and like we really had like stuff going on and I had a relationship with his children, it would have hurt me. But that's life at this point, you know what I mean? But like, no. So like as the state of what we were in, no.
Like, I feel like the state that you were in, if you had met the kids, it would kind of be like my homeboy's child. right?
Exactly.
So it wouldn't have been like,
Yeah, it wouldn't have been. Because imagine, like, we wouldn't have been spending that much time together. Us with the children.
yeah.
So yeah, that's why I didn't want to date men with kids, because like I love Sarah now. I don't get to see her because her daddy's like, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
And
Go ahead.
oh, sorry, I was gonna say, and the reason that I was scared to, really, that's what it was, fear, like scared to date somebody who had previously been in a marriage, is because you think about it, like, that's a lifetime commitment. Like, you stand
You've already
before
done it once.
all the people that you care about in God and make a promise to be with this person forever. I imagine that traditionally people don't do that if you don't mean it, right? Now, we know that some people, everybody didn't get married for the same reasons, but I don't want to say right, but that has to be extremely hurtful, right? And no matter whether it was your decision or whatever happened, like, I can't imagine that type of pain, right? So it was scary for me to be like, okay, well, if I date somebody, will they ever want to get married again? Will their feelings change? Like, well, what kind of happened? So that was the reason that I was scared. But again, I got some baggage that people might be scared to take on, like, oh gosh, like, I don't know how to help her through this, love her through this, support her through this. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like in relationships in general, like everyone has baggage. Like even if that person feels like they bring too much baggage to the whole situation, you start to feel a little drained because they're using, or I wouldn't say using, but just it can feel draining. Like if you're a person who you clearly know you have baggage, you're dating someone who clearly has baggage or whatever the case, and
You're
they're
trauma
using,
bond.
yeah, it's just it's a really tough conversation that you have to have, and it's sometimes it's not just one conversation you have to have.
Yeah.
One time, sometimes it's just multiple conversations.
And I don't want to do that. Like, what Drake say, don't invite me to your pity party. I'm done with trauma bonding to people. Because I just seen this TikTok that was like kind of viral a couple of days ago, where he was talking about like compatibility, right? And he was saying that two caterpillars may be compatible while they're caterpillars, but what happens is when they go into that cocoon, one's going to turn into a butterfly, the other could potentially become a moth. One flourishes during the day and one at night. Like, they no longer have that thing in common.
Yeah.
So what happens when two people have this thing in common and that thing is gone? You know what I mean? So like compatibility is like temporary, it's situational, but like it's not just because you and I and this place that we're in our lives right now are compatible. What happens when one of us starts to heal? When one of us starts to grow and one of us wants more than the thing that keeps us together? What happens? Friendships are like that too.
Yes.
No, absolutely. Friendships are definitely like that.
100%.
That's why I can let so many people go.
Listen, it's people. That's why I was like, protect America. I just went to Josh's wedding recently. Josh Oliver Adams. Yeah, it was oh my God, it was so beautiful.
Congratulations.
Her name is Katie.
Kat. Caitlin. Yeah, so Kat. She looks so beautiful. Yeah, but like I was thinking like, because I had asked Crystal to be my +1. I was like, I don't know if I want to go. But I was like, you know what? It's not about me. It's about them. And at the end of the day, it might be some people that I don't want to see, but I don't got to talk to them. I can't.
Oh, because of the PA connection. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but no, it was really nice, and none of those people showed up, which is kind of fucked up, because you know when people RSVP to weddings, you're paying for them people to come.
Yes.
So I was very disappointed they actually didn't show up, but I was happy at the same time, and I looked so fucking good.
You did. Those shoes were cute.
Thank you, girl.
That
Body
whole
with the
outfit,
body.
honestly.
So with PA people, you don't stay in contact with many of them, right?
Nah, I talked to Josh and his wife, Josh and Kat. I talked to Greg.
Do I know Greg? Who's Greg?
Greg, I don't think so. I think Greg was gone.
He was there before you came.
Before the fall?
Yes.
You make it sound like it's the Game of Thrones.
No, it was like that with that email.
Twin. So yeah, the primary person I talked to is Twin,
Wait, who's twin?
Crystal.
Oh, okay.
She looked like my mother. That's why. But yeah, so but she's even hard to get in touch with sometimes. But yeah, so like, don't really. I mean, like they follow me on social media. Like they'll say stuff. Oh, never mind. I ain't gonna say that. But they follow me on social media and they say things. And some people, it's really no shade. Oh, Naomi, I talked to her a lot too. It's really no shade.
No,
It's just like
her.
the thing that made us
Sweet.
common is gone, and I don't feel like the relationship or the bond that you and I share is enough to flourish outside. It's like if you take a plant into space, it might flourish down here, but if I take you to a new place, you ain't gonna make it. Yeah, so
For sure. So what have you been up to? Do you still have a dog? Do you have a dog at one
yes,
point?
you see my She's on my Apple Watch. It's my baby. Ro the Leo. Oh God! If anybody knows how to raise a Leo, a August Leo, dog, please let me know. Cause she was stressing me out. She stressed me out. But
August Leo dog.
August Leo. When I make TikToks from Ro, it's always Ro the Leo.
There's a difference between August and July Leos.
Dogs?
It's a difference between every zodiac in the months.
Yeah.
Like I'm a March Aries, April Aries. They're a little different.
Yeah, March Pisces and February Pisces.
Listen, February.
Not big on the zodiac.
Yeah.
February Aquariuses are the origin to my villain story. I swear. Matter of fact, Tom is an Aquarius. He's a February Aquarius, and I had posted that. I had tweeted that, and then I put it on Instagram, and he was like, "That's about me," and I was like, "No," but it was actually about him. That's absolutely about him. I'm telling you, like, listen, it was so crazy. Like, when I had decided, all right, I'm not talking to him no more. Like, you playing in my face. You keep watching my Instagram, so you're not talking to me. Like, I'm done, right? Mm-hmm. That was Halloween weekend. So, I don't know if y'all seen me on Halloween weekend, but I was showing out, right?
Oh,
so,
I did. I did see you on Halloween.
Thank you, sis.
TikToks
Yeah,
and stuff.
I was showing out, right? And I did it on purpose. I really didn't even plan on play like that, but I was like, oh, you're not talking to me, but you gonna watch my shit? I'm gonna show you something.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, so he was replying to my stories. At that point, he was replying to my stories. I just wasn't writing back, but I was opening it. It was funny because, like, if you look at it, it's like, I miss you to everything. I miss you. And then, like, I just would open and not reply. And then it was like, I'm going to kill you. And I thought that was so funny because it sounds so toxic. Like, oh, you going to kill me? You mad, huh?
It's not toxic. It's theatrical.
Yeah, like, oh, you mad, huh? You real mad.
And you put allegedly?
Allegedly, yeah. But yeah, no, definitely they're the origin to my villain story.
So,
But anyway, so yeah, yes, I still have Ro. Who
So-
would ask me?
So just the same apartment complex itself. You just moved to a
I just
bigger.
moved a different building. Yeah. Oh yes, what I've been up
Oh, so
man,
the girl's
Rick-
still there.
so-
Your daughter's still there.
to. No, she just moved.
No, she just
Oh,
moved.
okay.
okay, so
Allegedly.
rerun back to PA people. I don't even talk to.
Oh my God, your brother did work there. I used to forget that was your brother.
Why are
you
you
ever get
looking at
married?
the camera?
Because I know he's watching.
Looking
I
what
don't
you're
even talk.
looking at.
Nice.
Yeah, he got married.
Oh, good
You
for
went,
him.
right?
I love love.
You went, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I wish him the best. Congratulations, bro. Wish y'all the best.
Oh, Lord.
I do. I honestly, I do. Wholeheartedly, I wish them the best. I just have looks on my face because that's just my face, but I wish them the best.
You ever seen Juno? And she's like, why she look like that? He was like, that's just her face.
Yeah, exactly. That's my face. I have a resting bitch face. But I wish them the best. I do. Really the best.
PA was such a disaster. Like I really can. Like when I currently have coworkers that used to work at PA.
I thought you were going to say I currently have COVID. Like, I know you do not got me up in
No.
here with you.
Okay, I was kind of like, a blind man walking on the highway. I didn't know anything was going on. Like, a lot of the things weren't going on until after I got promoted. Then I was like, what?
No one knew anything until we got that stupid ass email. Like, what the fuck is going
Well,
on?
I knew that. I'm just talking about all, like, the best and the drama that was intertwined in there. I didn't know that until I started, like, hanging out with certain people. But...
Oh, I was
Like,
oblivious. I didn't even care to know.
But what happened when the mass layoff happened? Like, I knew.
You knew it was coming?
Oh, no, they told us. They told us.
Before the email, you didn't know it was coming?
Oh, yeah. No, I already knew it was coming.
Okay.
Yeah, so she brought us all in the office, and I'm pretty sure everybody knew.
I mean, the offices that are like glass and you can see
the
what the
glass.
fuck's
So
happening.
she was like, we're going to have a meeting, and, it's we're going to switch over to remote, and, I was just like, oh, shit. We're about to... It's about to be cut, and
So
I
you
knew
not even go remote?
We did for like a week.
But my
For
job,
me, for like a week
I was
and a
like,
half.
I was trying to find shit to do because I'm supposed to be a fucking event planner and recruit, and I couldn't recruit because
With no
they didn't want to bring nobody in.
I was trying to figure out why I don't remember that. That's because I had to get tested for COVID.
Yeah, so
and
we did.
I was out the last 2 weeks, so
I think she had
same.
said something along the lines of like, "Don't worry about it." To you. So
Same.
we did. I remember her walking to your desk. I was like, "Have you seen Raven?" I was like, "Listen,
One
I
day,
don't
just
even
left.
tell the truth
Do you
in this
remember
building."
that? One day, me and Crystal, we fucking left for the day. We never came
The
back.
very last day, July 1st, remember we were all in Crystal's bed. Remember we took that
Yeah.
picture?
Didn't y'all go to a pool?
But before that, before we closed down, I was like, "Fuck this shit! I'm not going back," because I
Fuck
kept
this shit,
because I was having to take calls and I didn't want to talk to
Yeah,
nobody.
Raven was struggling on the
I was like,
call.
I'm
She was
tired of these people. I said,
taking
this
those
is why.
scare
I
calls.
said, this is why. I said, I already got promoted from this shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to take
I don't
calls.
like that.
She was sitting
So
there
I
taking
left
care
my key
calls.
card on the desk and like I went to the lake. And
Oh, it was the lake y'all went to,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, we went to the lake, and then I was like, shit, I might need the extra funds. So when we transitioned, so I went back. I called. I was like, yeah, I left because I had COVID. Turns out God punished me, and I really had fucking COVID. So didn't lie.
You had COVID at the time?
I didn't. So after
You didn't know
that.
you had COVID when you
No,
used
I
that
didn't
as
even
an
know.
excuse.
Spoken into
I
existence.
did. Yeah, I
That's a
spoke
damn
into
shame,
existence.
man.
Yeah, that's words have power, y'all. So I was like, yeah.
I wouldn't even play
If
with
you're
COVID.
listening
either.
now, yeah.
I died. No bullshit.
Can't do anything now. So I was like,
She said, "Can't do anything."
like I left for the day, went to the lake, had a good ass time. We got Rudy's barbecue, floating on the lake, not a care
your ass
in
is out there
the
exposing
world.
folks.
And then I was like, I'm not feeling really well. I had already told her I was like, yeah, I left because I have to cook. She was like, go get a test, and I was like, sure, yeah. I was like, I ain't getting no damn test,
Yeah,
I
back
hadn't
then they
decided-
did the real test.
Yeah, I didn't even decide that I was going back at the time, and then I was like, I might need this
Definitely-
job. So I was like,
definitely
I
pass
need
my
a
test.
fucking test. So I had to go get a test, and like by the time I turned in my test, it was already the last day. And she's like, well, I really don't need this now. We're closed down. I was like, well, I just wanted to let you know that I got the test. And yeah, I came back positive.
They didn't treat that situation well at all. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually tried to transition us to like
No, they
remote
didn't,
until
because
someone
we were
got
already-
COVID.
I'm so tired of talking about protecting America.
That fucking
Me too.
They have taken up so
Yeah.
much of my life.
That company was
Yeah,
down the
yeah,
hill
forget
when
them.
they were selling 25 penny key fobs for $40.
Yeah, forget. Yeah, next
Over
topic.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure. That was
Over
a
it.
really funny last
That
2
place.
weeks of that experience.
And yeah, I have your stereo and your blender.
You probably shouldn't have said that. So I don't
Just
know.
kidding.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, I don't have the stereo anymore, allegedly. really shouldn't. I really fucking don't.
What?
I'm just kidding. Or the blender,
Okay, stop.
allegedly.
You could stop.
Yo, I'm mad that we started talking about Tom because now I'm mad all over again. Like, you could have left me alone. Like, why? You could have
But
left me
then you
alone.
wouldn't. But then you wouldn't have. You probably wouldn't got the lesson that you needed to get from that.
God,
situation.
why? So it's funny. I made a TikTok today where I was talking to God. Right, I'm using my British accent and everything. But like,
Oh, not
Wait,
use
no,
the
do
British
it,
accent.
Do it right now.
Do
Yeah,
it.
do it.
so I had a conversation with God on TikTok, and it's really funny. I think like maybe 6 people have seen it at this point, so I might quit my job. But so I was like, it's really frustrating because God, why? I don't understand. If I could call him right now, but like, listen, I get you think that I'm strong, thanks. But if you could just ease up just a little with these tests and these truths. I mean, like, it's just too much. Like, can't you just do like everyone else and write it down? If you want something, you want me to learn something, put it in a book. you know how they say, if you want to hide something, put it in a book. God, put it in a book.
Please don't. Yeah,
So I don't have to have these experiences because then what happens is I'm scarred. Now I'm shut off. I have all these walls up higher than Mount Everest, and it's extremely difficult. You know what happens when people go up Mount Everest? They die. So that's why these relationships don't last because it's cold. My heart is cold. It's just too much.
That makes perfect sense.
Listen, it's a lot.
I'll give her TikTok right
Exactly.
now. Like, I can share that TikTok on my Snapchat.
So it's very frustrating, and it's funny on the TikTok because I was like, it's like like Congo. I was like, hello, can I speak to God? Can I speak to Jesus? And it's like, what? Well, where would he be? Okay, well, is God available? I was like, no. It's like, who is this, Peter? Like, okay, well, okay, yeah, no, I leave a message. So then God calls me back. I was like, okay, and I was like, yeah, well, I mean, you're really hard to get in touch with. And, I mean, yeah, I get it, you're not on my time, you know, I'm fine. I was like, well, no, I got the blessings that you
This
sent
should be
me.
a
Thank
series.
you. I was thinking about it, right? It's like, yes, thank you for the blessings you sent. I did get them. So I have a question. Did you really mean to make men? All right. It's like, really? It's like on purpose. No, I'm not doubting you, right? It's kind of, why would you do that? You know, like, it's kind of bloody ridiculous. Think about it, like,
Not bloody ridiculous.
Bloody ridiculous.
you know, it's just like, why would you do that? And I was like, well, I mean, I guess you did make snakes, but like, I just don't see their purpose. It's like mosquito. Why are you here? And if you're here, and I'm supposed to be of you, it's like saying, oh, God took a man's rib and made a woman, right? So you would think you would appreciate me because, like, literally, I came from you. If I take off my thumb and I give it to someone, you know, like, it makes sense in my head, by the way. So I left another voicemail because I have some more questions that I could call back. I don't want you to call me up, God. I would like a call back, please. You have to be specific when you manifest. So, yeah.
That's
Love
funny.
it.
I'm gonna have to share that one.
It's pretty funny.
It's
Sick
bloody
of that
funny.
shit.
Have you guys ever seen? Are y'all watching Insecure?
Yes.
I want to see that show. Okay,
I caught up last night.
People keep telling me I need to watch it.
Never
I need to
watched
watch
it.
I
I'm not a TV
literally
show guy.
will watch all the seasons with you to
But,
get you up.
okay, so the lady who played the woman who plays that.
Issa Rae.
Yeah, so I just watched the
She said that
movie.
girl.
Yeah, I just watched the movie with her in it. The photograph.
Yeah, it was alright.
It was
I love
underwhelming.
that movie.
It was alright. It was
I just like
underwhelming.
the sound- I
It
think I
was
just like the
beautiful
soundtrack.
black scenes. I love black
Yeah,
love.
I think that's what
But
it
yeah,
is.
I mean the storyline was underwhelming.
Plus, I was high, so everything to me was happy. It's medicinal.
So, we're here. Insecure.
Listen, first of all,
This might be the first time we've ever talked about Insecure on the podcast.
Yeah.
that
Go at it.
Have you
Whatever.
that
watched
job,
I
that
watched
show,
the first episode. I'm just not a
it is
TV show person.
masterfully made. The way that they
Yes.
have the ability to make you feel this secondhand tension, this secondhand embarrassment, this anxiety. It's just like, I am so emotionally involved with people who do not exist. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Particularly this show.
yes.
Wait, how many seasons?
This is season 5. This is the final season.
Okay, so I have a good
Yeah.
thing to
But
just
they're only
say.
30-minute
Yeah,
episodes.
30-minute episodes. Like, you'll breeze through them.
Y'all, it takes me.
You'll breeze through them.
It takes me
What platform
weeks
is it on?
to watch
HBO.
one movie. It
So no
takes me weeks to watch one movie. No,
Listen,
literally.
you will be hooked.
Yes.
And it really is triggering how much alike I am with these characters. Like, I'm just like,
Is it,
Yes.
does
Issa,
it
why
take
you
place
so
in the
loud?
East?
Issa, why you so loud?
Is it like, does it take place in like
Is it
on the East
Inglewood?
Coast?
LA.
LA?
Okay.
LA. They're from LA.
What did you think about the ending of episode 1, season 5, episode 1? Were you upset?
recording?
I was upset.
Oh.
The ending
oh,
of it.
oh. I was
Because I feel
heartbroken.
like I was invested all last season.
I was
And you gonna do this to me on the first episode?
Listen.
The end, I didn't see that coming. I was very upset, and almost to the point where I'm like, am I gonna finish watching this season? Because I was invested in that relationship.
It was disappointing, and the reason that it was disappointing is because we were rooting for you. We were
Yes,
all rooting for you.
everybody.
But see, listen, I understood though. I can say that I understood because think about it. Like, we do not always make the first. I just feel like I wish in every uncomfortable situation, which is not realistic, but like every uncomfortable situation, difficult decision, we get a chance to just breathe. Like my mother always told me, in every decision that we make, right, there's always one moment that presents itself where you have the opportunity to stop and go a different direction.
Okay.
Stop and do something different. And in hindsight, I can always identify when that moment comes, right, or when that moment came, right. So I feel like we make the best decisions that we have. We make the best decisions that we can with the information that we have, right? I can understand how in that moment
That was the best
she
decision?
felt like it was the best thing for her to do.
Okay, so fast forward to this past Sunday's episode.
If you guys haven't seen Insecure,
Yeah, can you,
I'm trying not to tell people what
Wait, can
happened.
you give us like a brief brief
Y'all had
summary.
a couple days to watch that.
Wait.
Let me tell you something.
We need a brief summary.
I love her with him. He's so fine.
With Nathan?
Yes.
Oh,
you don't like Nathan?
I hate that relationship.
I like them
hate
together.
it.
And you know what? I think that I love how very understanding she is of his mental illness. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And
how she addresses the fact that she doesn't completely understand it,
yes,
but she's willing to learn.
Yes,
Yeah, I agree.
like that.
And I like the way that they make us uncomfortable with that conversation when he has to come to terms with the fact that his relationships are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Have a lot of turmoil based off of who he used to be when he was not well.
when he's manic. So, but he didn't know. He didn't even realize that he had back then.
Right.
He didn't know he was sick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like watching him trying to
Navigate.
and mend some of those past, like, was that his brother?
It was his cousin. And it's so funny because I tweeted, I was like, something going on there. They must have had sex or something because
Oh yeah,
she was like,
really.
hi Nathan.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so.
I was like, something's there.
Um,
I always be thinking about the word, something's there.
No, I want so a summary of what is the show about? Like in a nutshell.
That's impossible.
It's so many things.
That's impossible.
When you love something, you can never explain it.
Yeah.
in a
And
nutshell.
it's so many things. I feel like
There's so many themes.
They touch on so many different things.
Okay, what
And
is
you know what I really love
Uh-huh.
about Insecure? They do not shy away from the uncomfortable situations that
Yes.
come with friendships too, right? So like
Yes.
they're a group of a core group of girl best friends, right? And it's kind of like going into their lives. So one thing that I really appreciate is the Molly and
Yeah.
Issa situation, right? They've been best friends since college. They grew up together a very long time, but now, and even Kelly. You know, even Kelly, like,
they touched on
touch on friends having babies, like the dynamics of relationships changing and what that means and how to navigate through.
Okay.
It's not
I
easy.
think I might
Yeah.
watch it.
Listen,
it's relatable.
It's so relatable. I've been
Everything.
watching it and I just be
Every
like, why are
episode
you
is
telling
like-
people my business?
Every episode is relatable. It seems like every episode there's something in it that you can relate to.
Yes, and it doesn't. It just feels so real because you relate to it so much and you feel like you're being seen. You know what I mean? And it really allows me to be like, wow, this reminds me of that time where I also did this and I wish that I had done something different. Or you know what? I absolutely agree with you. I would do the same thing. Like it brings about those uncomfortable conversations and it allows us to have dialogue about things that haven't happened to us.
Yeah.
Right? But again, we can only make decisions with the best information that we have. I don't know what I would do if the man that I had been in a relationship for many years and we finally got back together and got on the right track ended up having a baby that I wasn't prepared for. I don't know how I would handle that. I don't know if I could have walked away from him. I don't know if I could have stayed. I
And
don't
actually,
know.
when they got back together, the ex was pregnant, so he hadn't even had the baby
Right.
yet.
I
You
didn't
know?
have to be, they were broken
But
up.
how long were they broken up for? Because people
It was like a
change
year.
in-
Yeah. It was
people
about
can
a year.
change in a year. People can change.
Listen,
in a
I'm a different bitch every day. I'll be honest with you. Because I got new information.
Like you're British
I-
one
I-
day.
You're right. You're right though. You're right though.
You're right.
It is,
As you should.
you know what? It
Yeah.
is what it is. I would not. I know my demons are wrong. Okay.
So I didn't see the previews because I had to watch it on HBO Max.
Did you watch this episode from this past Sunday?
I watched the episode. Yeah, the one that just.
The one that just dropped
The one. Yeah. Yes, a couple days ago.
yesterday. The
Yes.
day before yesterday.
Yes.
Girl, the last scene, I was like, I felt the same. Like I felt like I was her, seeing them.
Yeah.
And like it took my breath away. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done. And honestly, I personally, like in that moment, I felt like if this was to me who Lawrence was to her, I would have been standing there hoping that he was about to come up behind me, like come to
Because
me.
she stopped.
She stopped.
She walked by and then she stopped.
And I was like, maybe she's trying to get herself together, but I was like, maybe she's waiting. And I
But
wanted
see,
him to come around that corner.
so on HBO Max, since I didn't watch it live, there was no preview. I kept trying to fast
None.
forward.
They haven't had a preview for the
Oh,
last
they
2
did.
weeks.
Oh, they haven't. I googled. I was like, okay, I need to know what's gonna happen on next week's show. Like, yeah.
No preview.
So, okay, so it wasn't just me because I was
It's not
searching
just you.
high and low.
The newest episode or the newest name of the podcast is Insecure. Can we talk about it?
Can we?
I'll tell y'all.
Interesting show because
really
it has mental health, it has relationships.
I'm so
And
into
black
it.
shit.
I'm
And
not
black-
a fan of
black
shows
ass
that
people, black
depict
ass
this
love,
real life. I
black
like
ass
stuff.
music.
I'm not
black-ass
a big
art.
person when
I
it comes
am.
to.
When Kofi,
Get me in my emotions. Let me cry.
I'm
We're
not.
not even gonna talk about when Kofi was on the episode. Let me tell you.
just listen, black-ass people, black-ass music, black-ass
I love
art,
it.
black-ass talent, black-ass money, black-ass everything black.
Everything black. Everything.
We need a T-shirt that says that. Is there a T-shirt that says
Everything.
that?
I'm sure there is because Issa said I'm voting for everybody black. I'm sure something that says black everything. So.
Man.
Black on black on black. Is that a song?
Yeah.
Is it by Young Dolph?
No.
Don't bring it up.
Okay, listen. Okay, so
This is not the trajectory of the
no,
podcast.
listen. Me and my friends, we have a group
Black.
chat. I thought I know his music. I thought that
This is
He
probably not. You already said this. You probably shouldn't say that you thought he was somebody else.
I did. I thought it was his friend.
Who?
Keylock?
No. My friend Dre. He was like, yeah.
Said this last
He was like, I
episode.
just lost my friend Dolph, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. You know. Turns out I didn't know that's who he was talking about.
So he knows him in real life?
No.
So listen, this is what I will say, right? Because people, social media, one is just not a real world, right? But
Yeah.
I had said something because I was kind of getting irritated. I was looking at people like, music really creates timestamps in our lives, right? Like, Dolph, when Preach came out, I know exactly where I was the first time I heard that, right? I was at Bowie State college party, like,
Turned up.
what is, you know what I mean? It's like, there are certain songs, it doesn't matter who it's from, right? Slow songs, sad songs, love songs,
music.
all music. It creates the soundtrack of our memories, right? And they create timestamps. So yes, people may not know this person personally, but you know how their art made you feel, and it created something that you can enjoy and that you can hold on to. So absolutely you feel connected to that person. Absolutely you can mourn the loss of somebody that you don't know because you cannot take that from somebody. And so what? Why does it matter to you that somebody else is upset about somebody passing? That, can you just imagine, like, all the friends that I buried 10% of the people that I grew up with, right? The thought, like, I know what it feels like to lose somebody unexpectedly. I know what it feels like to lose somebody to senseless violence. I know what it feels like to lose somebody who just at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? And young people at that.
Yeah.
So we don't know these people personally, right? We don't necessarily know what he was doing behind the scenes, but like, you see the things that he does, right? You see he's a family man. He literally was on his way to give away turkeys. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
To be somewhere like a cookie store and somebody just gun you down with your back turned, that is sick. Like, I could not wrap my mind around that. I was like, man, like, what is going on? You know what I mean? And it's not even, I feel like it can happen to any one of us, but it's just, it's so much harder to accept when people young pass away, because just like, you see terrible people who've done sick things, and they're still
End up
alive.
80,
You know what I mean? End up
90
80, 90, rotting in prison, whatever the case may be. Just like, damn,
Out
like,
walking.
it's just so hard, right? Because you don't want to question God. You understand. And like my mother, I wrote it about in my book. I had lost a lot of people, right? So like, I literally buried 6 friends within like 5 months, right? And the last one was my boyfriend. And I just could not, you know, you go through the stages of grief, and like once I got to like the bargain stage, I'm like, Lord, like, okay, I won't do this no more. Like, just let me talk to him. Just let this not be real, right? And my mom was like, listen, God knows when you're going to come home, right? The world decides how it is. Like, people fall out of airplanes, walk away with broken legs. People in perfect health, they never wake back up, right? Like, it just is what it is. It just is what it is, right? But when she broke that down to me, and I was able to accept that, it really helped me to process, like, okay. And then you think about it, like when Kobe Bryant died, right?
That's what I was gonna say.
That
like,
was so hard.
That's kind of a weird parallel, because like we started the show. Like,
Yes.
Like we are.
Yes.
We started
Yes,
the
we
podcast
did.
on the day.
Yes,
of,
we did.
And it was really
was
tough for
sick.
both of us. Like,
We couldn't even talk.
she hit me like, yo, I don't even know, and I'm like, shit, I don't even know. Like, I never met Kobe
You're right.
a day in my life, right? And I
But
also
he meant so
knew
much to us.
It was such a strong feeling, just because you see this person all the time, you hear this person all the time, you watch basketball, whether you're a Lakers fan or not.
And representation is so important. Like, it felt good to watch him.
Yeah.
It felt good to listen to Dolph. It felt good to get hype, right? I'm getting dressed. You think I'm listening to Beyonce? I'm listening to some trap shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's just crazy. And like, one of the things that I thought about was when Kobe Bryant died, I was crying. I was telling my mom, I was like, I cannot believe this. And she's like, listen, she's like, but think about the life that he's had, right? Many times we see these great people who've accomplished these wonderful things. They do it very early in life, right? Because God already knows that they're coming home. And thought about this, like, listen, like this man was in the streets. He turned his life around. He gave so much. And then he went home.
Yeah.
So
he already had fulfilled his purpose.
exactly. So it hurts and it's hard to rationalize how people go home and when they go home. But the fact is that it's like my favorite book. It's called Siddhartha, right, by Herman Hesse. And I've probably talked about it before, but like the theme of the book is nirvana, right? So if I'm a doctor, right, easiest example, am I a doctor because in kindergarten I decided I was going to be a doctor and I did everything I needed to get to that point? Or did I maybe really enjoy golf? And my whole life I worked on golf. And then one time I broke my leg and was fascinated by the way that somebody helped me rehabilitate or go to college to get a degree to make a like, is who I am based off of the decision that I make, or no matter what I do, I'm always going to get to this point, right? And I believe the latter. I think that no matter what we do, we're always going to get to the point that we're supposed to be. We're always going to fulfill that destiny because it's divine intervention. So that helps me in my grieving process of losing people to know that this was going to happen the way that it was going to happen, right? But the wonderful thing is the good things that were supposed to happen to them also got to happen as well.
Yeah.
So
That's one thing that I explained to the guy that I'm talking to. I'm not even going to say that. Okay. But his mom passed.
Got real morbid real fast.
Yeah, his mom passed. I think October or September. And like right now he's really not still, but he's struggling through it. And because his mom was like his best friend, his person that he would go to if he needed to, like if there was a big decision in his life, he doesn't know what direction to go. So during the time that he told me, like I'm an empathetic person, so I felt everything, when he was telling me, but I wrote him something basically saying like, even though I didn't meet his mom, because we were supposed to meet his mom now during Thanksgiving week, I said, even though I didn't meet your mom, like you can tell the impact that she's made, in this life, because she's like, you've taught me so much.
That's such a wonderful thing.
Yeah, like every little thing. He's like, he comes to me like as someone who's, I don't even know how to describe it, but like say like I do something wrong, but instead of him, lashing out or doing anything like that, it's more of words of encouragement, wise words and stuff like that.
He leads with love.
Yes. So his mom was like that, and I'm like even though you're sad, even though this, you'll come to a time where it'll be not get easier, but I don't know how to say it.
I always say that your grief, it never gets easier, but you get better at dealing with it.
Yes. So he'll come to a time where that moment is, but you can definitely tell the impact, because it's through his kids, it's through his friends, it's through like everywhere he goes, he is always helping others, and just with his words, like he's a powerful person. He hasn't even realized it yet. So
yeah. It's funny, you just gave me something. So my Texas dad, Charles, he died October 13th, right? And because Charles has been sick for so long, last March he had a major stroke that left him bedridden. He couldn't talk anymore, right? He's been sick for so long. I feel like I've been mourning him for so long that when he died, even though he had been sick and like you're preparing yourself for it, because that last stroke we basically put him in hospice care in Shannon's home, right? It still didn't feel real, right? And I felt like when Dolph died, in hindsight, I might have been mourning both of them at the same time. Like, man, I can't believe it. Like, I cannot believe it. Like, you were the person who brought me to Texas, and I don't know what this means for me to be here without you. You know what I mean? And Tom is like really big on Tumblr. Oh, speaking of which, just to spin it back a little bit, he showed me his Tumblr, and he's like, if anybody ever wanted to kind of really get an idea about the real me, like they should look at my Tumblr. And I really impressed myself, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna write something for him. So like I went down his timeline and I wrote him a poem based off of every post on It's High. I'm gonna let y'all say something. And I was like, damn, I impressed myself because I went through a period where I was like, can I not write no more? Like, what is going on? And I just had like a major writing block for like a year. But anyway, I'm on Tumblr and I just seen something that spoke to me. It was like, I will search for you in every lifetime until we stay. And I feel like in everything that I do, the way that I interact with people, because Charles taught me really how to interact with people, right? Because I was hot-headed. I'm like, you look at me wrong, you say the wrong thing to me, it's that's your ass, you know what I mean? And he really talked to me, you know what I mean? He really encouraged me. His much is very wise. And I feel like I search for him in everything that I do because this whole place is him. Like, this life that I have here is like, has been cultivated off of the things that he instilled in me, and he brought me here to have a better life, and I have a better life because of him. So I feel like you said, like, he can see his mother and everything that he has and his children and his ways, like, and I feel that same way.
Everyone's gonna I'm sad as hell right now.
I know. It reminds me of my grandma because everybody knows me in my life. Like, my grandma was that was my mama. She taught me everything, how to cook and everything like that. I don't really talk about her a lot, but she died when she was 94 on Cinco de Mayo. That's why I don't really celebrate Cinco de Mayo. But that lady was wise, just wise. Everything that she's did, everything that she's done, and also the one thing that I think that's kind of helped me now in this spiritual journey that I'm in is like, she's the one who, started me on my religious and spiritual journey when I was just 4. And then now it's like every big moment that I've had, like, she was there. And then also, of course, God was there in my life, but it's just, well, I can't even talk right now, but it's kind of like, what's the word? I always get lost with my words, but now looking back, as I grow and as I continue to learn, she's everything that I do, I do it with her in mind. So I think even when I was doing just horrible shit, like, fucking up every 5 minutes, like, I still had that. I feel like I still had that voice in the back of my head from her that would just, help me through that situation, or help me to make the right choice. Even if I felt like it was the wrong choice, it still helped me to find the right path to continue on. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we're getting the fuck out of this. I didn't heard about 4 people who passed away. I'm knocking on wood because I feel like what's going on. But yeah, we'll end soon.
Yeah.
She wanted to get out here at 9. Hopefully she'll give us 15 more minutes or so.
What time is it? I have grocery shopping to do.
Yeah, she needed to get out here at 9, but I'll ask her if we can get another 15 out of her, and then we'll be done. Where you guys want to go with it? Because I was gonna probably think about doing like maybe just like a great. Because I need y'all to say some positive shit now.
We're grateful for it.
I got some. Oh shit.
Showing gratitude.
Yeah.
My baby.
Just some like what we're grateful for. Well,
I don't even have a booty. I have a vertebrae.
Me too. My long back matters.
Okay. Because I got a long back.
I mean, I'm thankful for this back.
I have a little booty crash.
I am thankful for this long back of mine.
Yeah.
It gets me to and
I've
from.
been wearing low riders because that's how long my back is. I'm talking about the Britney Spears cut off. Yeah, that's me right there. Yeah, I thought I was the only one.
No.
yeah. So just you guys have a quote about allegedly or whatever y'all want to do.
I do have one about it. Yeah, actually, I was working on that.
Yeah, hopefully she'll give us just some more minutes or
why
whatever.
don't you talk about you start first. What are you grateful for?
We have to wait for her to get back. She said, "What you got?"
Oh, so that you're gonna read the quote.
So we're gonna,
What?
if she gives
I'm
us
confused.
the 15 minutes, we're gonna go through that grateful, part. It just and it doesn't really have
grateful for this baby.
it doesn't have to even be the cookie cutter
kidding.
family
There's no
thing
baby.
unless you want it to be. I'm gonna say something more in depth about.
To wake up this morning.
if that's what you want to do. No, I know that you want to get out here at 9, but
so I be worrying on stuff. I had to pee so bad. I was like, I gotta go now. So I can't get this stuff off.
I don't want to keep you too long. If you would give us like another 15 minutes
I
or
can
so,
do that.
and we'll kind of go through something way more positive than, well, not positive in the sense that didn't have to come out and you guys didn't want to talk about that, but just something a little more positive.
A little bit more huff.
Lighter.
Yeah.
But you know what? I appreciate these moments because
Absolutely.
one thing that I always try to preach to young people, not preach, but just express is that I remember being younger and people always talking about when you get older, you have to pay bills. You have to go to school. You're going to do this, you that. Nobody talks about what being older
Everything
is really
else,
like.
yeah.
Like
It's
dealing
not a
with
class.
loss, right? You know, like loving people and losing them. Like not being able to, I hate when people say it's never too late. That is not true. That is not true. There are some times where it's too late and there's things you can't do, right? So like, I appreciate these moments where we can actually talk about things that are hard and talk about things that we struggle with and talk about things that we don't know what the fuck to do because that's life. And if I'm going to listen to a podcast, I want to listen to a podcast that encompasses the struggles and the ideals and just the situations that I deal with, something like me. Right? If I'm listening to an artist, I want somebody with a similar background as me, somebody who can express things that I can't express, give me words, give me, that representation I'm looking for. So hard conversations are important.
No, and that's, when I even told you about the podcast, like, and this is, what, 2019? It's 2020,
Yeah,
about to be 2020, right?
2022.
2022 is what I meant. Yeah, that. So, like,
I like your hair, by the way.
when I even came up with the idea, it was this. I just dropped an episode that we did last week, and then it had Bella on, and Bella just kind of explained her perspective. She just got out of a marriage, right? And it was a very abusive marriage, right? And just to give people
I got a gun, Bella, allegedly.
Huh?
I said I got a gun, Bella, allegedly.
And just like to make a space where people feel comfortable to even talk about things like that.
Safe space.
That was one of the biggest things about creating this podcast. And at the beginning, I thought I needed to add in the food aspect of me. I can keep them separate. I can also be the cook guy, and I can also be the guy that has an open ear, right?
Yeah, you're so much more than your talent.
Exactly. And I didn't know that in the beginning, so I was all.
I'm happy that you know that now.
I do, and I love the fact that people feel so comfortable coming here. That was the first time I ever met Bella in person, and to be in the presence of someone and feel comfortable enough to kind of just explain them, right, and not explain them to anyone in the room, but just to have that space to say, hey, this happened to me. I'm transitioning. I'm becoming a better version of the self that I thought was the best version of myself. And, creating this podcast has been nothing but just like inspirational, just because like I get to hear a lot of stories, and I've always got to hear a lot of stories. And that's just because like I keep what you say to me. Like I don't spread what you tell me. If you tell me something, you just told me. You didn't tell.
Telling
multiple
Calvin
people.
something is like telling a priest.
I'm not gonna talk about your business to anyone, and it doesn't really matter what the conversation's about.
And not because he's so secretive, it's because he don't care. He don't care.
That's the truth. But I care in the sense of like hearing you out, but like I'm not gonna go move this information you just provided me to somebody else. No one else needs to hear what you told me because you told it to me.
That reminds me of the reset, actually. So a piece in my book, it says, you don't have to start over in order to start fresh. Today marks a new beginning. I'm putting the past to rest. I'm more letting my temper leave me reckless, like all of my past to rest. I'm trying to be more positive and keep moving past the rest. You know what I mean? Like, we are not who we used to be.
Exactly.
We can grow from that place. We can create the safe space to talk about it, but not be encompassed in that thing to where we feel trapped and we can't ever be more than what we were.
Exactly. And just
Did you
to,
remember?
Perfectly said.
Next time I'm gonna get you a copy. You really should read that one because he ain't gonna touch it. It's got the same little flap, the same crease since the last time I.
that's not the truth. The shelf fell.
Brittany, take
I
it,
would
read it.
love a copy. Or whichever.
Take it
This
and
is
read it, please.
first of all, this is the part of the setup, and the setup can't be changed. Only
Listen,
attitude.
she can bring it back.
Only
You know what I'm
attitude.
saying?
Oh wait, I have a copy too.
Yeah, listen, because I really love your mind. I think that you and I, it's almost like a kindred spirit. Like, I just feel like I've known you, but like I feel like you understand me and that we mesh really well. So I would love to share my art with you.
Yes, I would.
And talk about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Dope.
Can we?
I'm excited.
I mean,
It's just, and I love just listening to you speak. You know, I feel like
every time Calvin had me on, he'd be like, I don't know why.
No.
Listen.
You
Me
articulate everything very well.
Me and
I
C
feel
are
connected with the words when you say them. Like,
Thank you.
yes,
I
like
had a professor once that told me people listen to you when you talk. He was talking to me specifically. He said, listen, people listen to you when you talk. So you better make sure that you stand by everything that you say and mean it.
Yes.
And I really try to live by that.
And when she told me that, 2 years ago, like, that's when I knew I could fuck with you. Because of that, right? Because, like, we've had conversations about whatever, right?
Everything.
Every fucking thing. Like, we've had mad conversations, and it's really rare for me to have someone to verbally spar with. Like, we can go back and forth about just information stuff, right?
And I argue with people that I agree with just because I like you said, the art of verbal sparring. Like, I enjoy the back and forth. It keeps me sharp.
Yeah,
me too. I love it. I fucking love it. We never agree within our conversation, right? But we're okay with that. Like, we don't have to like end the conversation or just stop talking because we don't agree.
And it proves to me that I really believe what I say I believe, to be able to defend it.
Yeah.
If I ever am talking to somebody and I get any inclination that they don't really believe, I will pick it apart.
Me too.
I will pick it apart. Oh man, people hate me.
Same.
Why do you feel that way? I will pick it up.
Yeah.
The second that you look like you got any type of doubt, I'm going to pick it apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to get Miss Sierra out of the building. So Thanksgiving is in 2 days. Yay. Thursday, it's Tuesday.
I got my 2 plates ready.
So I wanted to kind of leave it off with not only a quote that we'll get to towards the end, but also just saying just something you're grateful for. And once again, it could be anything you want it to be, right? But let's keep it short and simple. And not simple, but short and sweet. And we can finish with Brittany's quote. And I guess I can go first. So, even when you like walked in the bathroom, you said the shower thing, right? That is something I'm grateful that happened because the pandemic happened shortly after. Mm-hmm. And what if I was still stuck in that relationship with the pandemic and I had to stay with that person in a sense of like not knowing what the fuck's going to happen next. Yeah. So for sure, like I'm grateful to be where I am now because this doesn't exist within that relationship. That like there's no way there would be 4 women in my apartment with that person. Like just because, no reason or anything like that, right?
She said something about my nails. Remember?
Oh, she did?
Calvin had invited me over one night because he was trying to do dish. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to come over and try it. And like, I had made a snap or he made a snap or something. And she was like, she need a filling. I was like, I will smack that ball in, bitch. You better stop playing with me.
Once again, guys, positivity.
That was positive.
Like my mama say, I'm not that saved, okay? There's a lot of people in Texas that lucky they met me after 25. I'm just saying. Because I be on your ass.
But yeah, for sure. Like I can't even imagine. I talked to even Robin about it. I'm just like, I can't freaking imagine what would have happened because we literally broke up right before the pandemic happened.
It probably wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't exist. There's no way in hell this exists in that
It's hard to be creative around people who just
episode of We'll Never Know. What was that episode?
What if?
What if? We don't know.
We don't know. But I know that this podcast wouldn't exist if I was still in that relationship.
Sometimes I'm okay with not knowing. I'm okay with not knowing some things.
Yeah, absolutely. So whoever wants to go next, just something you're grateful for about just the growth that you are now and just who you are as a person now and how you feel like you've now kind of transitioned with that like grateful statement. So whoever wants to go, I don't know.
So mine is very cookie cutter and traditional. I am just very grateful and thankful for my family, and I'm thankful for my son. I have a 17-year-old son who's a senior, and just the young man that he's grown into. We're at the point in his senior year that we're doing college applications and stuff like that. So just looking back onto everything, because him and his dad and I got divorced when he was 5. So just looking back on all the years that everything that we've endured and gotten through, you know, I just a little bit. Sorry, I get long.
No,
but
Girl, that's my life story.
Yeah, just
Let me tell you about the weather.
Yeah, just a little background. I met his dad 3 weeks before I went to college. So, like, I feel like I went from being under, you know, my parents' roof to we were in a committed relationship, and he was.
At 18, that's a lot.
Yeah, I went to college, but he was the guy in my life, you know, his dad or whatever. He was an alpha male, so he took care of everything. So I went from being with my parents to now we're in this relationship. Then we had a child. Then we got married. So when we got divorced, you know, when I was 25. I had never been alone. You know what I'm saying? I went from my dad taking care of me essentially to, you know, my ex-husband taking care of everything. Like, you know, he paid the mortgage. He paid, you know, all the, like, this was the first time that I was figuring out that, you know, by myself. And not only am I doing, now I have a 5-year-old that I have to do it for. I don't have a choice. Failure is not a choice because I have somebody depending on me.
Yeah.
You know, so figuring out, you know, my ex-husband, when we were going through the divorce, like, he didn't tell me that he stopped paying the mortgage and stuff like that. So getting, you know, something in the mail saying you gotta go, and I have this mouth to feed, you know, just figuring out. So looking all the way back to now setting my son up, and, you know, he's about to graduate, about to go to college. Like, I just am very thankful. Thank you. I have my village, like my family was there with me, you know, but just looking back and, you know, everything that we've gone through, you know, and you know, my son not missing a beat, you know, through it all, you know.
He like, Mama, you went through what?
Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, it's a blessing. So I think that, you know, just, and I'm like stressing, girl, like, God's like, shit, this is what my parents did to get me in college. Like, it's a lot, like, you know, because kids, you know, we're helping them figure the shit out. We're helping them figure out life. So I'm like, okay, you got deadlines, you got college applications, we got these fees that we need to figure out how we can go get them waived, because $75 a pop for a college application.
Yeah.
His guidance counselor should be able to give him waivers.
We worked on it, but just going through all the process, you know. So I just say all that to say I'm thankful for, you know, the growth, yes, and looking back, and, you know, my son growing up into a young man, and then
That's awesome. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I really
Amazing mom.
appreciate
Because
that.
that's something that has taken a lot of people down.
Yeah. Yes.
And look at you,
Reminds me of my mom.
victorious, thriving in abundance. What Kelly say? All of my friends are thriving in abundance.
Yes, she did. That's an insecure
If
quote.
anybody ever asks you how I'm doing, that is the answer. She thriving in abundance.
She thriving
Her
in
ass is
abundance. Her ass is fat. You know?
You have to watch the show.
Yes.
Watch me. I'm gonna come back like, listen, I watched all 6
By next week, I'm expecting
Watch
it.
me over the break.
You
I'm
can do
bringing
it.
sweatpants
Yes,
and everything.
easy.
Oh.
Because you know 30-minute episodes really be 25.
Oh, listen, I can do that. I ain't doing anything else.
Does it only come on the HBO Plus?
Oh, I have free HBO. If you need the password, let me know. I get it free with my
Allegedly.
my service.
But yes, so family, friends, I'm thankful for this platform, Calvin, this space that you create for us each and every week. Like, I appreciate you. I'm thankful for you guys, the Can We Talk podcast family. I really appreciate you guys.
Dope, for sure.
I'm thankful for that book I'm about to read. With you
Ew.
guys.
I'm excited.
Okay, go ahead, baby.
Raven was ready.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where to start. I think before I've walked around in this life with a sense of entitlement, with a sense of unlimited warranty. But I think I'm just grateful for every little thing, every little aspect that I've went through. All the trials, all the tribulations, all the people that I've met, whether it was a good relationship or whether it was a bad relationship, because either way, it's gotten me to this very moment right here. And I'm still living, I'm still breathing, and I'm still, you know, moving and grooving, and I have to, of course, I want to thank my family, and I'm thankful for the friends that I do have, grateful for the new relationships, but yeah, it's hard to say what one thing that I'm grateful for, because I'm even even grateful for just waking up this morning and just like every day, like I try to be grateful that just for the little things, like I wake up and I'm just like, thank you Lord for like waking me up this morning. Thank you for this, thank you for that, thank you for this food, because a few months ago I was just walking around aimlessly without a doubt. So I'm grateful for the moments that were just unexpected. You know, I didn't even think, like after that car accident, I didn't think that I'd even be here. So it's just things like that that we unwillingly don't even think about. So
Yeah.
but I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for this podcast, that we actually have a place that we can come on here and be open about a lot of things, because it's been my outlook. It's been my therapy, and I've gotten to share my story. I've gotten to hear other people's story, which it has been inspirational. I've gotten to meet you guys, and of course, even though PA, but I got to meet you guys that brought me to this moment. So every little thing that has brought me to this moment, that's what I'm grateful for.
Amen, sis.
Amen.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, church.
Sorry to keep yawning, guys. My day starts at 5 a.m. I told you I'm a big girl now. So I had some time to think about this.
Yes.
So funny enough, Adele, have you heard her new album?
I have not.
I'm not ready for it.
Listen, it's
Powerful.
she's so vulnerable, especially you as a mother. Express what you just expressed to us. Listen to My Little Love.
Okay.
It's just tonight.
On my way home.
Yeah, on your way home.
I will.
So something that Adele says in one of her songs is that sometimes loneliness is the only peace we get. Right? So as I'm listening to everything you guys are saying, I'm like, yeah, I'm thankful for my family, I'm thankful for that. I'm thinking like, wow, I'm here right now.
Yeah.
And a year ago, I'd have been like, Calvin ain't about to invite me over his house. Like, absolutely not. You know what I mean? So even though those moments over this last year, because it's been almost 2 years at this point, were very difficult times, I'm thankful for that solitude that God put me in, because it gave me an opportunity to really take a look at myself and give grace, right, to other people, receive grace for myself, and really take a look at, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, what do these things mean to you? And now that you're in a place where you really have nothing, right? What are the things that you want to have, right? Because the pandemic really took everything away from us, right? So now that you're in a space where you have so little, when you have the ability to have it all again, what is it that you're going to take, that you won't take for granted, that you want to keep, that you want to make sure that you cultivate? And I'm just so thankful for the growth, right? Because again, a year ago, had you told me that I'd be sitting here right now and we'd be able to just, Calvin, you asked me why did I want to come back on. It felt so good to be here. Right? To be in your grace and your presence, to be able to apologize to you for the grace that I did not extend to you. And to be able to say, standing tall and say, I was scared. I was terrified. My livelihood was on the line. I was losing my job. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't do the right thing. That felt good for me to be able to take that accountability, because that meant that you are growing and that you are not the things that have happened to you, and this is just another thing. I always tell people, you have successfully made it through 100% of your worst days, right? So it feels good to be here, to have these conversations, to do these things, but to just be able to embody and to acknowledge and be able to pinpoint, well, you a new bitch. You know what I mean? And you're a better bitch. Like, you're newer, you're better, you're brighter, you're happier. I feel happy. Yeah, so that's something I'm very thankful for. It was difficult. And like my mother told the story once, she's like, you know how a butterfly becomes, a caterpillar becomes, I'm like, yeah, of course. And it's just like, but there's something that people don't talk about. Like, when the caterpillar is in the cocoon, it don't just break out. It got to fight. right? And if
Go through some things.
it got to go through some things, right? But
Yeah.
the one thing that's super important that happens in that process is that the strength of its wings builds by its ability to get that momentum up to break out, right? So we have to be in tight spaces that are uncomfortable, right? We got to have those conversations. We have to go through those things so that we can make a decision, right? How am I going to get myself out of here? I seen it like a post corner. I was like, I've successfully pulled myself out of all these dark spaces, but you have to, right? So I thank God for that time where he sat me the fuck down, sat everybody the fuck down and said, we're going to figure some shit out, right? Because I can't say that I would be the person that I am today, the friend that I am today, the daughter that I am today, the lover, whatever, had I not had an opportunity to be like, bitch, you are not that girl.
Yeah.
You got some things to work out, you got some things to heal from, and you need to make some amends. So I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that because we're here in this loving space. We're able to, like how people have been giving me words that I didn't have. Hopefully we're giving people words like, wow, they just articulated the way that I've been feeling. Wow, I never knew how to say that, and now they just said it. So I'm thankful for this moment. Absolutely.
You definitely hit the money on that one.
No, for sure.
Let me tell you something, girl. When you come back, we're going to have you a gift basket, okay? Okay? When you come back, you're going to have your basket.
Talk to me. It had a gift card in it too. It may or may not have an Apple Watch, man.
We were talking about like what, because everybody always asks us about this podcast. What is it? What is it about? Like we talk about everything.
I don't even answer that question.
That's like insecure.
I don't even answer that question
I
anymore.
just say, I remember when I told you I figured it out. This is a growth podcast. Like whether you're in whether you're in one point in your life or a different part of your life, like if you hear an episode, you're gonna learn something. You're gonna grow from that because it's just relatable. It's relatable with everybody. Whether
It's black ass people, black ass music, black ass art,
black on black on black on
black, gang, whole lot of gang shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, like you're right. Like it, we touched on it last time you were here, right? It was just, I felt it was a hard conversation for not only you to talk about, but for me to talk about, because you were my absolute first person I went to when it came to the creation of the podcast, right? Like there was nobody else. It was like it has to be seen.
I don't think there's ever been a moment in my life where I was the first pick.
And it's amazing to like look back at that time, because once again that's 2019, kind of transitioning into 2020 before everything kind of got crazy, and we were so committed to creating this platform or even doing this, right?
And that's really a testament of how long shit takes. Like we talk about time, right? I remember I was asking my mother, like, why are there no dinosaurs in the Bible, right? And she's like, it's a good question. So we asked our pastor, and he's like, time is relevant, right? And a day to us might not be a day to God. So when the Bible says God created the earth in 7 days, a day might have been 10,000 years, 10 million years, right? But our concepts of days to what days mean to us and days different. That's why they say God may not come when you want him, but he's right on time. He might turn around, turn back, and 10 million years have passed. Like we just don't know. But like, especially with that growth, the pandemic went on for a long time. You know what I mean? Like when we talk about solitude, like it took a long time because I feel like we go through grief for a lot of things, and we don't realize, like, I go through grief when I lose people I love. I had to grieve losing myself, or who I thought that I was, or who I was told that I was. I had to figure out who I am, denouncing anybody else's definition of who I am. You know what I mean? Like, who am I to me? Who do I want to be, right? So it takes time. It takes to be uncomfortable. It takes that solitude, and it takes that forgiveness of myself for letting myself down, letting other people let me down, hurting myself, letting other people hurt me, self-sabotage. So it takes time.
It takes time. Absolutely.
It's so weird that everybody, like, even on social media, they can see like the beauty of like where you're at now, right? Like after you've hit that hurdle, after you hit that solitude, after you've been through those battles with yourself, those inner demons, or you let people go that you thought you would never let go, and they see now you're just a happy person, but they don't see
the growth. They see one point and then they see the second point. They don't see how you got to that second point.
They don't see the final product.
Or if they see the struggles, they don't speak on it.
Yeah.
They don't Some.
Or they don't cheer you on.
Most.
They don't cheer most. They don't cheer you on. They don't stop and say, "Are you good?
Yeah.
You know, what can I do?" None of that. But when you get to when you're glowing and when you're happy and when that energy is
That's
good,
when they want
girl,
to be
you look good.
Listen, it's like them TikToks and them videos where you're like an artist starts with their canvas and it's
Yeah.
blank and it's just like, wow, like this started like that.
Yeah.
And then it became that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the detail that goes into
Yeah.
stuff. You know, it
And
just
you like, I've been working on this masterpiece. I've been working on this
Yeah.
masterpiece.
And goddamn it, let's get out of here. And let me finish with this. People who are worried about the numbers, you guys don't see the numbers. So go ahead, Brittany. Because the numbers are great. They're fantastic.
Period. Poo.
If you're looking on YouTube, I'm sorry, we don't focus on YouTube. So yeah,
wait, what happened?
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Period.
Y'all gonna do me like that?
I'm just saying. There's certain
Oh, I
people
don't
out there who
know.
don't know the numbers that we actually
I think
do.
we're talking
know
to
what?
these people out here
You know
on
what
this
Coco
camera.
Chanel said? Coco Chanel said, I don't care what people think. I don't think about them at all.
All right, let's finish on that.
And my mother always said, what does it matter? What does it matter? I don't speak on things that don't matter to
doesn't
me.
matter.
You know what? We don't live with that. We don't live with Coco Chanel.
Perfect, guys. This is the Can We Talk podcast, episode 33,
Your
featuring
mother.
Sierra Dotson. We're out of
Can
here.
you stop saying my last name? I got
Sierra.
suckers too.
McFly.
Dotson, Von Taylor. I don't know.
Furstenberger.
Just call me gang.
Gang, gang, gang. All right, we out.
All right, we got it, guys.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye, guys.
Thanksgiving.
It's after Thanksgiving, but you get the drift, y'all. Bye.